Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the College of Law, Hamad bin Khalifa University Graduate Studies Open House. My name is Amna Zaman, and I'm a second-year SJD student and a doctoral research fellow. I'm also a LLM graduate of the College of Law, and I'm delighted to be your moderator today. Thank you for taking the time to be with us, and we're really excited to share what makes our programs distinctive and how they can support your academic and professional goals. Let me quickly take you through the agenda before we move forward. So to start, we will begin with the Provost's message through a short video. A welcome from our Dean, Susan Karmanian. Dean Susan will provide an overview of the College of Law, highlighting the mission and key features. We will then introduce our distinguished faculty members before moving on to an overview of our academic programs, and then share some important contact information, details about admissions requirements, followed by a discussion on our student affairs services to basically support your academic journey. The session will conclude with a question and answer segment, and it will be followed by closing remarks. Just some quick housekeeping rules. For questions, please use the chat box at the bottom of your screen. And please note that this session is being recorded so that you can revisit the information later. We really look forward to an engaging and informative session with you all. Can we please play the video from the Provost?
Good morning and a warm welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure to welcome you to the Graduate Studies Open House at Hamad bin Khalifa University. Today's event is your opportunity to discover how HBKU can help you pursue advanced studies, engage in cutting-edge research, and make an impact on the world. HBKU was founded with a clear purpose: to advance knowledge, drive meaningful research, and prepare future leaders capable of addressing complex global challenges. As part of the Qatar Foundation, we are uniquely positioned within an ecosystem dedicated to education, innovation, and community development, one that connects ideas with real-world outcomes. Our university is organized around 6 colleges, covering science and engineering, health and life sciences, humanities and social sciences, Islamic studies, law, and public policy, each contributing to a broad interdisciplinary vision of education. We have recently added a new School of Economics and Management to the existing fields of study and continue to grow our scope and impact. Complementing these academic entities are 3 major research institutes that anchor our efforts in cutting-edge inquiry and applied innovation, addressing critical priorities for Qatar and the wider world. Most importantly, HBKU is a dynamic community that brings together students, faculty, and researchers from diverse backgrounds who collaborate in an environment that values curiosity, creativity, and shared purpose. You'll find world-class faculty, state-of-the-art facilities, and opportunities for engagement with industries and international partners that make learning here both rigorous and relevant. Our graduates carry that spirit forward, making a difference through leadership in academia, industry, government, and entrepreneurship. As you join today's sessions, I encourage you to connect with our faculty, explore our programs, and see how HBKU can be the place where your ideas turn into impact and your ambitions take shape. Thank you for joining us, and once again, welcome to Hamad bin Khalifa University.
Thank you. It is an honor to invite our Dean, Susan Karmanian, to offer opening remarks. Dean Karmanian, the floor is yours.
Great. Thank you so much, Amna, and good evening to everyone. I'm Susan Karmanian. As Amna said, I'm Dean of the College of Law here at the Hamad bin Khalifa University. Just by way of background, I've been Dean for 7 years now. Before I joined HBKU, I was previously the Associate Dean for International and Comparative Legal Studies at George Washington University Law School. And I also have a background in the practice of law. Before joining George Washington Law School, I practiced law for 14 years, and I would go to court representing clients in largely commercial disputes, but I also had a very active pro bono practice. So I wanted to give you a little bit of background because my background somewhat mirrors the background of some of the faculty as well, because we believe in educating you in the law, but having practical significance. And it's that theme, I think, that we're going to hear a little bit more about today. So let me provide you some background on the Hamad bin Khalifa University College of Law. We are actually celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. And the law school was established as part of a partnership between the Hamad bin Khalifa University and Northwestern University Pritzker School of Law in Chicago, Illinois. And a deliberate decision was made to have law taught as a graduate degree. And so the first group of students that joined the faculty 10 years ago, they already have a first degree in some subject. And that is a way we distinguish our program, because to become a lawyer, to be dealing with contemporary problems, many times complex problems, you need a certain degree of maturity, and you need an understanding of another discipline. So our students coming into the Juris Doctor program, which is the 3-year graduate degree in law, they all have previous degrees. And we've had students with engineering degrees, architecture degrees, history degrees, and the like. But the aim of the college from day one has been to offer quality and innovation in teaching and research. And we have a very strong public mission, and that is to help shape the legal profession here in Qatar and beyond. And we teach by way of a comparative approach. Qatar, as you know, is at a major crossroads. We have neighbors right next door going over to Iran and to Pakistan and India. Obviously, we have our neighbors in the region. We're close to Europe. We're close to Africa. So we're at a crossroads. Trade has always been a very important aspect of the development of the economy here and the like. And over the years, you've seen with that a number of legal systems come into play, or better yet, what I would say legal traditions. And so we looked at the law from the civil law perspective, from the common law perspective, as well as Sharia. All of these elements inform Qatari law. And when we teach law, we don't ask our students really to memorize. What we ask our students to do is to focus on problems, to identify society's problems, and then use analytical skills and legal support, whether it be in the form of statutes or cases and the like, to help solve some of these problems. So the College of Law, when it was launched, as I said, in its first in 2015, it had one degree, okay, and that was the Juris Doctor, or JD degree. And this is the first and really only JD degree in the MENA region. It has a world-class curriculum that is designed to give students skills and knowledge to become lawyers, and also an emphasis on becoming leaders. And after 3 to 4 years of the JD degree having been in effect, we added 2 Master of Laws degree. And we were very specific in selecting the subjects because we wanted to have subjects that are relevant to Qatar. And so we have international economic and business law, as well as international law and foreign affairs. And then a year after the launching of the LLM degrees, we launched our Doctor of Juridical Science, the research PhD, so to speak. This is one of the first fully fledged research intensive doctorate degrees in law in the MENA region. And it focuses strongly on interdisciplinary research. Over the years, our students have come from, a number of students, of course, have come from Qatar. And we're very proud of the fact that we've had 60, 70% Qatari students over an extended period of time. But also, as for some of you that are on the line may know, Qatar has a large expat community. So we will have students from that community. But recently we have seen students from Turkey, from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, and from the United States come into Qatar to be able to partake of the education that they would get at Hamad bin Khalifa University College of Law. We're extremely proud of our graduates. I know Amna is one of the graduates, as you heard earlier. She did the LLM, but if we could go back to the previous slide, please. Our alumni work in prominent positions in a number of ministries here in the country, commerce and industry, foreign affairs. We have a recent graduate from the first class who recently has joined the Ministry of Education and Higher Education. They have worked in legal departments at major companies, as well as some of local institutions like Qatar Museums, Qatar Energy, and going back to the World Cup time, the Supreme Committee for Delivery and Legacy. Some of our graduates go on to the United States or Europe to do a Master of Laws. Those that have graduated from the JD program go on to pursue a Master of Laws. And in particular, we're very proud of the fact that 5 of our graduates have gone on to Harvard Law School to do the LLM. Graduates have gone on to Columbia, Georgetown, Graduate Institute, Geneva, NYU, Duke, University of Toronto. And this year we have our first graduate at Yale Law School. These are the world's top law schools. And for a law school like ours that is just 10 years old, to have had our graduates go to the most prominent law schools in the world, I think is a testament to the high quality that HBKU offers in legal education. We also, though, are very active in the community, and we regularly host events and the like, but we have important relationships in the community, whether it be here in Qatar or whether it be beyond Qatar. And in particular, if we could get the next slide, please. Our relationships extend to UNESCO. And I'll mention briefly that one of the professors holds UNESCO chair on environmental law and sustainable development. You look at the United Nations Environment Program, the World Intellectual Property Organization. As a matter of fact, over the course of the past 2 days, we had 8 hours of a seminar with the World Intellectual Property Organization out of Geneva, the American Society of International Law, local companies like Ooredoo, the Financial Center here in Qatar, the British Institute of Comparative Law, the Qatar International Court and Dispute Resolution Center. And we also have an association created by HBKU of Association of Environmental Law Lecturers in Middle East and North African universities that stretches all the way from Turkey to Morocco. And we're seeking to help support the teaching of environmental law. Equally proud in terms of the faculty that we have at HBKU. We have a tremendous faculty, and the faculty has substantial expertise. And in particular, if we could have the faculty slide shown. Thank you so much. This is our law faculty. I think you will note that it is We're not a huge faculty in terms of the number of professors and lecturers, as well as we're not huge in terms of the number of students. We believe in quality, a focus on the quality. We have roughly 85 students in the building now, but our aim is always to give individual attention to students. And so we have that in mind, as well as making sure that we get the students whom we believe will be able to succeed in our program. And more than that, to be able to go to a fulfilling job after graduating to make an important contribution to society. And so Professor Ilias Bentikis is an expert in international law, having done his PhD in the United Kingdom. Dr. Damilola Olawi, whom I mentioned earlier, is the UNESCO chair holder on environmental law and sustainable development. He works in the area of energy law as well as environmental law, and he also has a course on entrepreneurship law. Professor George Dimitropoulos, who is with us on the call this evening. Professor Dimitropoulos is a graduate of Yale Law School, holding the SJD from there, as well as a PhD from Heidelberg University. He is the WTO chair. He works a lot in the area of international law and sustainable development. He's also our Associate Dean for Research and the SJD coordinator. So I see that there was a question that came in already about the PhD program and financial support. He'll be able to answer that question. Professor Eleni Pauli-Manepolo, who has her graduate degree from PhD from France. She works a lot in the area of freedom of expression and cultural heritage. Professor Barry Solomon, who is our Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, has his PhD from Cambridge University. He has been at the forefront of looking at the application of artificial intelligence to medicine, having had a number of grants in that area. And he teaches tort law, healthcare law, and constitutional law. Professor Hilary Bell, who will be with us, directs our JD program. And she is also the Assistant Dean for Student Affairs. She teaches a very popular negotiation course, as well as legal research and writing. She also coaches our moot court team, and she's also very busy in co-teaching with Professor Kyle Oak-Yip, a course on construction law. And Professor Kyle Oak-Yip has her PhD from the Graduate Institute, and her area of expertise is international humanitarian law, or the law of war. And she also teaches advanced legal ethics and co-teaches, as I mentioned earlier, Professor Bell, and also teaches criminal law. Dr. Fatima Adish is with us this evening, an assistant professor who has expertise in family law, in national security, anti-terrorism related matters, having done some path-breaking work studying the role of terrorism cases in the United Kingdom and the like. She has her degrees from the London School of Economics, and she directs the International Law and Foreign Affairs program. And Dr. Kehinde Olawi, who is an assistant professor, directs the International Economic and Business Law program. And Dr. Kehinde is a graduate of the Chinese University of Hong Kong, and she does a lot of her research in the area of commercial law, international investment law, and she's working with Professor Dimitropoulos and a number of others, a big team they have together to support the work of the WTO chair. And we have two lecturers, Dr. Khalid El-Khoury, who is a licensed lawyer here in Qatar. He did his PhD in law, the equivalent of SJD, as we would say in the United States, from the University of Virginia. And he's been working in the area of legal ethics, and he'll be teaching legal ethics to our first year or to our JD students next semester. And recently joining as a lecturer is Ahmed El-Suwaidi, who is a graduate of HBKU College of Law. He was in the first graduating class in 2018. And he has been a legal attaché of Qatar to the World Trade Organization, as well as other economic organizations in Geneva, and has been very active working with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs on very important international legal issues in light of some of the recent developments in the region. So this is the amazing faculty that teaches the students, guides the students, supervises the students, and the like. And it's this faculty plus the students and the opportunities that are given our students both in and out of the classroom that make Hamad bin Khalifa University College of Law a unique place. So a warm welcome to you. I am now going to pass the floor over to Professor Hilary Bell, who will be able to explain more about the Juris Doctor, the JD program. Professor Bell, we look forward to your comments. So thank you so much. And thank you as well, Amna, for your help this evening.
I think Hilary is on her way back from the law school. Will you allow me to take the floor on behalf of Hilary?
I think she just joined, George.
She joined us? Okay, super.
Yes.
Just one second. I see her.
Amazing. Can you see her,
join,
sir? Because
but
I haven't seen her.
I don't hear her.
Hilary, you're muted. You need to unmute yourself.
Right. I can see her as well. Yes.
She's having microphone issues. Yeah. George, Professor Dimitropoulos, do you want to go forward then so we could, once she gets the microphone taken care of, that would be great. Is that all right?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dean. Appreciate
Great, thanks.
it.
Yeah. Cindy, if it could be moved to the SJD maybe then.
Oh, shall we do SJD, or I was thinking of doing
okay, we
JD,
can start with the JD. Yeah, and once
right,
Professor Bell
Hilary,
gets on.
and whenever you're ready, just feel free to interrupt me and chime in, right? So, hi everyone. My name is George Dimitropoulos. I'm currently, responsible for our so-called graduate programs. That is our 2 LLM programs, as well as the SJD program, as the Associate Dean for Research. But, I have had the chance to work for very many years together with Professor Hilary Bell on the JD program as the Associate Dean for Academic Affairs back in the day until 1.5 years ago. So I do know the program fairly well as well, not as good as Hilary, of course. So this is a 3-year program, whereby you collect a lot of what we refer to as credit hours, 85 indeed. So which is to some extent more than you would, more classes than you would do even in the States, where the program is, originally, or where the program originates from originally. So the program has been very well thought through. If you ask me, this is, one of the best JD programs in the world, not only because we have designed it, but, if you take a look at our curriculum, it is extremely unique. It combines 2 wonderful features, really. Number one, a comparative aspect, a transnational perspective. In the first 1.5 years of the JD program, you have the chance to do the classes that you would do practically anywhere in the world, but with one additional, very important variable, namely the comparative perspective. We have a mandate in our law school to teach all of the subject matters: contract law, constitutional law, administrative law, company law, business associations, in a comparative way, namely consider the principles of the civil law, the common law, as well as Sharia. Namely, we consider the traditional legal principles that come from the continental Europe, which is where the Qatari law draws most of its principles from, as well as the English common law, which also inspires here the law of the Qatar Financial Center, as well as the different zones that Qatar hosts, as well as, of course, Sharia, that plays a very important role in the life of our domestic law. So that's for 1.5 years. Then in the fourth semester, that is at the end of the second year, you have the chance to develop skills with a couple of courses, such as a course on negotiations held by Professor Bell. You have the chance to develop the legal skills that are required for any lawyer that is meant to practice the law. Okay, which allows you to enter fully equipped into the third year of the JD program, where we offer different courses in different subject matters of specialization that are of particular importance to Qatar, as well as the Gulf and the MENA region. As a matter of example, here you can see that on the slide as well: construction infrastructure development, energy law, healthcare law, human rights law, international economic law, media law, media and cultural law, in fact, as well as sports law. Okay, so you have the chance to apply what you learned in the first 2 years alongside the skill set that you will have developed onto different subject area and subject matters that are of particular relevance to our part of the world. It's an extremely unique design of a JD program that prepares you both to be competitive on the global market as well as the domestic market. In fact, our JD graduates have been extremely successful. All of them upon graduation, they either continue their graduate studies in some of the best universities in the world, as well as, or in fact, they hold some key positions both within the Qatari government, as well as the private sector, as well as the Q companies, as well as abroad. We have a couple of our graduates that currently practice the law or work for the private sector or the government in the UK, in Australia, in France, etc. Now, alongside the foundational courses, the skills training that you get mostly in the fourth semester, as well as beyond, as well as the courses that are tailored to areas of relevance to Qatar, we also offer internship opportunities. During the course of your studies, you will have the chance to conduct the internships with, for example, the Qatar International Court and Dispute Resolution Center, as well as different law firms. In fact, you will be the first to know, because I just had the call just before entering our very own call here, the very important law firm Sidley, which helped us launch the WTO chair that you heard the dean discuss about, will be offering a structured internship program for our students. This is an extremely important development. So these are the kind of opportunities that you get in our JD program. Now, I should mention the JD program is a rigorous program. It takes place for it is a 3-year program. The classes take place from 4 to 8 almost every day, except for some Thursdays. And at the end of the 3-year studies, you graduate with an incredible degree that allows you to practice the law or become a subject, of course, to the further requirements that the bar associations, both within Qatar as well as abroad, impose on you and all the other graduates. Now, when it comes to student funding, we offered a limited number of partial tuition waivers, but they're offered on a competitive basis. Namely, our admissions committee makes a decision based on a competitive basis. And you'll see that, responding to Reham, who asked about the PhD candidates, in fact, we call them SGD candidates here at our law school, there are opportunities, for limited funding. And if you take a look at the link on scholarships, which is posted on the HBKU website, you'll find all the details that you will probably want. Allow me to take a couple of questions, and then we can move on. And I will invite my colleagues as well as the dean to say a couple of words, if they like, on the JD program. Now, can we study online, or should we come to Qatar? there is absolutely no chance to study online in Qatar. So the Ministry of Education mandates that all programs in Qatar that are offered by Qatari universities, as well as, in fact, all programs, in order for them to be recognized for employment purposes in the public sector of the state of Qatar, have got to be in person. So everything takes place in our beautiful classrooms in the Minaretin building. Okay? Right. There you go. Anything else that I may have missed on the JD program, Dean?
The other thing, Professor Dimitropoulos, is just following up on that other question, is the question about online is licensing authorities as well will require that a large portion, if not all your classes, be done in person too. So you have that, but you know 100% correct here that the Ministry of Education, Higher Education mandates in person, and of course we would expect to be in person. I'm sure Amna can confirm that the value of being an HBKU is to be in the classroom with your peers and the professor to have an engaging conversation.
Thank you, Dean Susan. I completely agree with that. Not just the fact that the courses are only offered in person, we have a strict attendance policy unless there is a very reasonable excuse to miss the sessions. Apart from that, my personal experience as a student, an LLM graduate, and a current SGD student, I think you'd be missing out on a lot if you're not in the campus, not interacting, because this place offers you so many opportunities, but you have to be there, you have to be present to be able to get a benefit from them. So I completely agree with that.
Perfect. Shall we move on? And there are already a couple of questions on the master's program, and I will ask my colleague Fatima, who already responded, to the other point that was asked by the student about the online programs, to also respond to those questions. Fatima?
Thank you so much, Professor George, and Assalamu alaikum and welcome everyone. My name is Fatima Ahdash, and as Dean Susan kindly made clear earlier, I'm an assistant professor here at Hamad bin Khalifa University, and in particular, I'm coordinating the International Law and Foreign Affairs program, which is one of the two LLMs, so that's the Master of Laws, that are offered here at Hamad bin Khalifa University. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the LLM that I coordinate. And I'll also talk to you about the other LLM that we offer, because my colleague, Professor Kehinde Olawi, is otherwise engaged. So in terms of the LLM in International Law and Foreign Affairs, it's a one-year program, and it's a full-time program. And as you can see here, we essentially offer 32 credits, and that's divided into two main sections. So that's the core classes where, as Professor George was saying, you have to attend, absolutely no online attendance or anything of that sort. And we offer there a number of core kind of compulsory courses and also some electives. So just to give you an example, you will have a core mandatory course in International Law and Foreign Affairs, in research methods in law, which will prepare you to write your LLM thesis, international human rights law, as well as international law itself. And then you have a number of electives from which you can choose. So, for example, media and cultural heritage law, as well as sports law as well. And then there is the kind of other major component, which is the thesis. Where you essentially write a 15 to 25,000 word thesis on a topic of your choice related to, obviously, international law and foreign affairs. You are given quite a lot of support by myself for that program, to prepare you for the thesis, equipping you with the major law research methodologies and methods, and how to write a literature review, and all of these sorts of things. And that's really, as I said, that's kind of one of the distinguishing features of the LLM, which kind of distinguishes it from the JD program, which is a lot more kind of practice orientated, whereas ours is more, let's say, academic. I mean, both are academic, but ours is a little bit more research focused. That's what that's what I could think of in terms of what to say. But one major kind of distinguishing feature of the LLM in International Law and Foreign Affairs is that we do accept students who do not have a legal background. That means you don't have to have an LLB to apply and successfully to our program. We do accept students from a wide range of disciplinary backgrounds that include obviously international relations, but we also have historians, journalists, and so forth, and they do incredibly well on our program. So that's for the International Law and Foreign Affairs. We also offer international economic and business law and LLM. It's very similar to the International Law and Foreign Affairs program. So it's also a 32 credit course or program, sorry. It's a 1-year program, also full-time, and it's also divided into 26 credits in terms of classes and 6 credits for the thesis. And the classes or the courses that you will attend include things like contract law, entrepreneurship law, and our very kind of new but flagship course, the Trade Lab, which is offered by our wonderful Professor George, and which Amna Zaman also is involved in. The international, this particular program, so the LLM in economic and business law, is only open to people with a legal background. So you actually have to have an LLB to be able to, apply to be considered for this position, for this program. We, our students do incredibly well. They are, as you all know, Professor George is, has the WTO chair, and that, our students on that program are heavily involved in the activities and kind of opportunities that are offered by the WTO chair. That's it from me, but I will look at the some of the messages and see if I can respond to them right now. I do see that Professor George has already responded to quite a lot of them. Let's see.
Right, Fatima, as you were speaking, and I didn't have anything else to do, I was responding to the students.
Thank you so much.
I think there's a good question, Fatima, as to whether the program, the LLM, is it academic or professional? What is your answer to that question?
I mean, I think this is quite a difficult distinction to make because it's definitely academic and it's professional. However, I would say that we have a stronger focus on legal research, whereas the JD has a stronger focus on legal practice. That's the answer I can give you. If you are interested, let's say, in pursuing a research career, whether that's in the form of an SJD/PhD or as a researcher in international law and foreign affairs, generally speaking, then I would say that the LLM is for you, absolutely. Having said that, there are, opportunities, practice-based opportunities open to our LLM students, including mooting. So it's kind of, both.
Right. The neat thing about the LLM is obviously the opportunity to work with a supervisor and produce a quality thesis, and in particular, the opportunity perhaps for some of the students who do a good job to get it published. And to distinguish themselves, to develop an area of expertise that could be relevant to a field in which they're already working or a field in which they want to work. And that sort of leads to the question that is on the board here about just in terms of your understanding over looking at applications and the like over the years, Fatima. What level of work experience would you expect? Because the question here is how many years required is work for the LLM? And the person says, I just started my career. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say we have a wide range of students who are not only accepted, but who do very well. So those are the students who are fresh from the LLB, you know, and come straight to us without any work experience. They're fresh from the academic, you know, their first degree. And we have those students who have years and years, decades even, of professional experience. So that's, you know, it's not to say, you know, it's not kind of a distinguishing factor at all. What we're really focusing on is your aptitude, your academic aptitude, your capacity for undertaking rigorous legal research. That's much more important, in my opinion. I mean, my colleagues might disagree, but in my opinion, that's much more important than your work experience.
I would tend to agree, if I may chime in here, and allow me to put on my slightly, you know, what do you want to call it, a stricter hat, which is the following. The truth of the matter is we're interested in academically oriented students. That's just the truth of the matter. HBKU is a research-led, research-oriented university, and both our LLM programs require a research thesis, right? Which gives you the opportunity, the chance, the privilege, if you wish, right, to work on a topic under the supervision of a faculty member. It's a great opportunity, right? So we do invite all of our students to think deeply about the matters that they will be engaging with in their LLM thesis. Amna, you know, is one example of a student who managed to finish her thesis within 10 months or so, right? Which allowed her then straight to jump into the SJD program. Amna, would you like to say any words on this matter?
Yes, thank you, Professor George. All I'd like to tell you all is that I would say that think of it as a great opportunity, because not all institutions offer you something that's similar. So when I was doing my LLM, I had 2 semesters of coursework, and then we're given a semester of thesis writing. But the good thing is that throughout the entire time, 2 semesters of coursework and your semester for thesis, you have a supervisor who's basically who helps you throughout your research. And it has been a great experience. I would say a very meaningful learning experience. I think that was the main time when I could really polish my research skills, actually understand the difference between, you know, trying to understand a concept, sitting for an exam, but then researching for something and producing a good quality piece of research. And I really took that as an opportunity to learn and to kind of expose myself to something I was not very good at. And since then, it has been a learning journey. And of course, I'm still learning, and this has to go on. But I could finish my thesis because of the tremendous support I had from my thesis supervisor, Professor Fatma Adash. Thank you again. I could finish my thesis within 2 semesters of coursework, and that was only because I was attending my classes regularly. I was on the top of things. I was doing my assignments, presenting in my classes, and then giving myself some time every day to work on my dissertation. And of course, with the tremendous amount of support I got from Dean Susan, Professor Fatima, Professor George, all of my professors, it has been, I would say, a great journey, and you'd be lucky if you're a part of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor.
Oh, sorry, Amna. I just wanted to see, just to double check if anyone had any questions that are related specifically to the LLM. I mean, obviously, I'm very happy to answer them at the end as well. But it just, otherwise, I'm very happy to hand over to Professor George for the SJD.
Fantastic, thank you. Hi again, you know, again under a different hat. I'm also the SJD program coordinator, and I'm the associate dean for research, which gives me the privilege to have the chance to work with my colleagues, Dr. Fatima Adash, as well as Dr. Kehinde Olaoye, towards developing our so-called graduate programs. As I explained before, In a way, you should understand the division of the labor within the law school as follows. We have our flagship program, which is our JD program, the first JD program, the first and only JD program in the MENA region, which is a professional doctorate. This is how our law school was started, it was developed. Now, on top of that, was developed another 3 programs. Our 2 LLMs, you heard from my colleague on the LLM programs. And on top of the LLMs, for the ones that want to continue their academic journey, our SJD program. SJD program, namely the Doctor of Juridical Science, is the term that is actually used in the United States for a research doctorate in the law. This is a 3.5 year program, which allows students to practically write a doctoral dissertation and perform doctoral research. Okay, so the idea is what? That you master a theory as well as methodology, right? And we help you build the capacity for that and work towards the completion of a dissertation on a topic that you will have chosen together, of course, with your supervisor. Okay, so what we need to see from you within the 3.5 years of your studies is demonstrate the ability to independently conduct original research. Okay, and you develop a dissertation which will be of publishable quality, namely at the end of your studies, you will have a manuscript which will be of publishable quality and eventually, will hopefully become a book that will be published with one of the best publishers in the world, Oxford University Press, Cambridge University Press, etc. Okay, so that's a thinking, that's a concept, that's the idea. For this reason, we have a combination across the years of courses alongside giving you the time to actually complete your dissertation. In the first year, our students take courses on research methods in law, and we have a course on advanced research methods in law that exposes you to the most important research that has been done in the law since the beginning of the 20th century. We have wonderful conversations on the main concepts of the law as well as the methodological implications. In the second semester, we have a course on advanced global legal ethics. Now, sometimes the graduate programs committee, the committee that manages those courses, will ask you to take additional courses based on an assessment of your previous background, okay? And alongside this, so alongside the mandatory courses of the first year, the dissertation that you will have to complete within 3.5 years, we offer we have a unique offering, the SJD Colloquium, that runs over all the 3.5 years of your studies. The SJD Colloquium is actually offered by the students themselves. So it is the students that help design the colloquium. And, it is the get-together of the SJD students from all the years of the SJD program. It is, in a way, if you wish, both institutional memory as well as the support group of the SJD students from all the years of SJD studies. Okay. So, and you see, I'm not laughing because, she participates in the SJD colloquium, right? So alongside this, alongside the coursework and alongside that, the SJD colloquium, and alongside, obviously, the dissertation and the dissertation research, our students, according to HBKU policy, have 2 published works. That's a graduation requirement at HBKU. So in those 3.5 years, you need to come out with a dissertation of publishable quality, as well as 2 publications. As you understand, this is an extremely rigorous program, but I'm extremely proud to say that our students have fared extremely well on all fronts. We will be graduating our first batch of students at the end of this academic year. Many of them have managed to have a substantial number of publications and, completed 2 publications within the required time. This is extremely impressive, This is, a source of pride for all of us at the law school. Now, when it comes to funding, we have a limited number of competitive partial tuition waivers, as well as scholarships. Please, I want to refer you, please, to the link that I posted further up in our Q&A box. Okay. I think I have covered everything on the SJD front, and I will invite both Amna as well as my colleagues and the Dean to chime in if they have anything else that they would like to add. Amna, you're muted.
You're muted.
Thank you, Professor George. As I've already mentioned, I'm a second-year SJD candidate, and I would just kind of share my experience and let you know that I think, experienced a huge transition from the LLM to the SJD program. Of course, both of them extremely rigorous, and I wouldn't say that there was a time when I didn't. There were a lot of times when I felt challenged, of course, for all the good reasons. And for the SJD experience, the reason I was smiling when we were talking about the colloquium, it's like a small support group for you, because that's your only opportunity to connect with your seniors and your juniors. And of course, if you're the first years, you do need to speak to someone. Of course, apart from the professors, the dean, you will have a group of students who are like a support system to you. They'd be sharing experiences of their first year SJD, their second year. So across all 3 years, we get an opportunity to sit together, talk, and develop a curriculum for ourselves that suits our needs and helps us better with our research. So, for instance, recently we had a session on how to approach the, let's say, editors, or how to make sure that we're capable of publishing something of high quality and making sure that we follow ethical standards. How do we use artificial intelligence when we're researching? Some very useful, helpful sessions that would kind of give you an understanding of how you can make the best use of technology, the support you have at the university, and your own skills to basically excel.
Fantastic. Dean?
Yeah, if I could just follow up with Amna. Amna, you talked about the community, and the neat thing is we have, for the SJD students, we actually have an office where the students can work. But also you've been given the opportunity at HBKU to undertake some work outside of the college. Like right now, where are you right now, and what are you up to?
All right. Before we talk about where I am right now, I'd quickly tell you, right after my LLM, I got this wonderful opportunity to start my SJD, and I got a fellowship. So we're working on the IPDD project. Professor George is the LPI, so it's basically Industrial Policy and Digital Development, which is funded by the QNRF. It's a very interesting, rigorous project. We have some very exciting deliverables. In fact, there's a lot that we've already achieved. So we have like an extensive, comprehensive database of all the digital laws and policies around the globe. We have country profiles of almost 40 countries. We have a MOOC, all of that going on. So that's one amazing opportunity. And as of now, I'm sitting in Geneva. I just came back from my sessions at the UN headquarters here. So we have the Business and Human Rights Forum going on, and it's a couple of very interesting sessions where you get to interact with important stakeholders about business and human rights. And this year there was a lot of discussion about digital workers and the fact that human rights must be considered as part of business, as part of trade, as part of the global economy. So just to let you know that there's a lot of opportunities out there. I've just mentioned two. As part of the program, I also got the opportunity to work with the International Labour Organization, and that too because of my affiliation with HBKU. Because one of my professors put out my name, and I got the opportunity. So what I'm trying to tell is that there's a lot that you can benefit from. Of course, it's not going to be very easy. You would have your own set of challenges because this is a learning process, and of course, it comes with its challenges. And those challenges, of course, help you get better at what you're doing. Well, you have to be there, present, grab your opportunities, like I'm doing. I've done, and I'll continue to do that, and enjoy it.
Right.
Experience it for yourself.
Yeah, thank you. That was very interesting because it's about seizing the moment, but you have to roll up your sleeves and do the work, and that's true of all of our degree programs. Professor Dimitropoulos mentioned earlier, the degree programs are challenging, but that's for a specific reason, and that is we're trying to move the needle in terms of our graduates making a change in society and having the skills to do so. I think Bilal now should we have Amna, do you want to introduce Bilal, please?
Yes, I would love to do that. But can we have the slide for the contact information, please?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
All right. So for all of you who want to contact for any of our programs, we have our email address, www.hbku.edu.qa. For the College of Law, and for inquiries, please contact Ms. Nisha Dukul. She's the executive assistant. We have Ms. Salma Haspoor. She's the LM and SJD academic officer. You have your email, the email address attached. Please feel free to contact them for any further information. Now I will hand over the floor to Bilal for all the discussions related to the admission requirements. Please feel free to ask him any questions you have with regards to admissions, the language proficiency, and all other important matters pertaining to it. Bilal, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for attending. So I will just give a brief overview about our admissions processes, exactly what we ask for when you apply. So first of all applications are online. We don't accept applications through email, manual applications. You would be surprised, we do receive these. So you can just go onto HBKU website, create an account, and then apply through there. The documents you require, so firstly, we require your academic transcripts along with your actual certificate. We usually require a minimum of 3.0 GPA or equivalent for students who have studied outside of the GPA system. It's also very beneficial if you're able to attach grading scales from the university of where you've studied. So when it comes to us converting your grades to see if you meet the requirements, we can get a very kind of accurate picture. On top of that, in terms of English proficiency, so we accept IELTS and TOEFL. They have to be valid, so they have to be taken within the last 2 years. For IELTS, we look at an overall score of 6.5. We don't necessarily look at certain minimum bands, but of course we will assess it as a whole. For TOEFL, we ask for an overall of 79. For students who have studied in their university in their previous degrees in English, we can accept an alternative of a medium of instruction letter issued directly by the university confirming that your degree was studied in English. So that is also an alternative if you don't have an IELTS or a TOEFL. Moving on to references. So we ask for 2 letters of recommendation. Generally, we do prefer academic recommendations, but if you've graduated a while ago or you're not in contact with your professors, we can accept professional references, so colleagues, managers at your workplace. Please note that these should be official references, so we don't accept references from Gmail accounts. It has to be from university or work official accounts. The next document of which we require is the personal statement. We recommend 300 to 500 words. It's just a statement about why you've decided to study it, your motivations, your reasons behind wanting to take this next step forward, how it will benefit you in the future, what your career aspirations are, and how this course intertwines with it. So we do recommend 300 to 500 words. It doesn't have to be too long, but it just helps to give us a clear picture about why you want to study the certain program that you've chosen. There is a research proposal as well. So this is applicable to the LLM programs and also the SJD. Again, it doesn't have to be too long. I'm sure the professors on the call can give a bit more insight about exactly what they're looking for from the research proposal. But, you know, there are certain guidelines to follow. And also, again, it doesn't have to be too long, 1 or 2 pages, just to give a brief overview of the research problem which you're looking to tackle, essentially. Moving on from that, we ask for an updated CV. We do realize a lot of students sometimes when they apply, their CV is a bit outdated. We always recommend review your CV before you apply. Try to add kind of any skills of which you think will be beneficial from the course or which you're currently doing in your job, or you know that you've learned in your academic journey. And then when it comes to identification documents, if you're an international student, we ask for a valid passport. If you are a Qatar resident or you're a citizen, you provide both your passport and your QID. Again, both should be valid. And in order to complete your application, we do ask for application fee of 250 Riyal. This fee covers applications for up to 2 programs. So, you know, if you wanted, you're torn between the LLM and the JD, for example, you can apply for both and it will cover the fee. So those are the general requirements. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know in the chat. A few dates to take note of. So for international applications, the deadline will be the 1st of February 2026. Applications should be fully complete by that point. So everything of which I've listed, that should all be in place on your application. For Qataris and residents who are interested in funding, March 15th, 2026 will be the deadline. And we also have late applications, which is May the 3rd, 2026. Students who apply after March 15th will not be considered for funding in that aspect. So those are the general admissions requirements. Again, if you have more specific questions, you can ask in the chat, or there's also the email admissions.cl@hbku.edu.qa. Any questions you have, just drop us an email. We'll be happy to get back to you as soon as possible.
If I could just chime in on that, thanks so much, Bilal. There was a question about the personal statement. I thought you answered that very clearly about what it should be included in the statement. Sort of where have you been in your life and why you want to get into this degree and why you think you're, you know, what the degree will mean to you and your commitment to it. On the funding issue for the LLM degrees, there's simply no funding. We just want to get that clarified. That degree program, the students pay the full tuition themselves. And we do have, as Professor Dimitropoulos mentioned, for the JD as well as for the SJD, some limited financial support, and we have reference to that on the web page and the like. But I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Thank you, Dean, and allow me to make another comment on the research statement that Bilal mentioned. Bilal, thank you so much. A wonderful presentation of our admissions requirements. No, the research statement is extremely important, and as my colleague Dr. Fatima will actually verify, we take it very seriously into account. Not in that we're necessarily judging the very particular topic that you are putting forward, but in fact your ability to complete an LLM thesis within 12 months, right? Which is, you know, the timeline for you to submit your LLM thesis, or of course, you know, for the, when it comes to the SJD program, the 3.5 years within which the dissertation needs to be completed, as well as your general ability to conduct academic research. This is what we're actually looking into rather than the very particular topic. Now, I will take this opportunity to highlight the following point, and in a way clustering this with the response of the dean to Leba, who asked us about, you know, the personal statement.
Yeah, the personal statement, which is different than the research statement, but yeah, go ahead.
Exactly right. So the research statement is only for our research degrees, so the 2 LLMs and the SJD program. The personal statement is a necessary requirement for the application in the application package for all of our programs. Now, I can promise you one thing. There is one thing that we don't want to see, and that's ChatGPT. Namely, the problem these days has started becoming that everything looks exactly the same. All the submissions look the same. And guess what? We have the capacity and the capability to assess that. So we know, we can tell. How can we tell? Because we've read applications before the era of ChatGPT and after the era of ChatGPT. And because not everybody uses, thankfully, ChatGPT, and the applicants that do not use ChatGPT, they do stand out. You know why? Because they're humans. Because, you know, this can speak to your heart, they can speak to your mind, while submissions based on ChatGPT written statements do not at all. So I will invite you to write the personal statement in a very personal way. And I will invite you to write your research statement based on what you have in mind as a matter of an important research topic and as a matter of, you know, an important and methodologically rigorous analysis. Okay, and a final word on the research statement, namely in the research statement, since we are assessing your ability to complete an LLM thesis or an SJD dissertation, I will invite you to be as rigorous as you can. Namely, you know, include footnotes, right? Include references. Of course, you know, using the referencing systems that the lawyers use, which is Oscola and or the Blue Book. This is how you will stand out. And as the chair of the graduate programs committee, and in agreement with Dr. Fatima as well as Dr. Kehinde, next year we're going to be even more rigorous in the admission process. We will be extremely rigorous. We have always been, and you know, nobody gets admitted without deserving to be admitted. But next year, we will be taking an even closer look at the research statements because we have actually faced issues with generative artificial intelligence. And we will screening all of our applicants, the ones that, you know, we think, you know, should actually be passing on to the next stage in an interview process in order to be able to judge the extent to which they are in the position in a human-like fashion to write an LLM thesis and or an SJD dissertation. I hope that is clear to everyone. Fatima, would you like to add anything to this?
Yes,
Please,
please.
sorry,
Yes,
Dean.
actually.
No,
Oh.
please, Fatma.
Oh, sorry. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor George, for this. I just wanted to add a few things as well. So, especially with regards to the personal statement, my kind of from reviewing these statements, I would say we would like to know why this program and why HBKU. So, you know, I would advise you not to send out, you know, personal statements that are too generic. Okay, so try to kind of tailor them a little bit to the program, to the offerings of this program, and particularly to HBKU. And the more you know, the more research you do about the program and about the faculty here and everything we offer, the more your personal statement, whether that's for the JD or for the LLMs or for the SJD, as a matter of fact, will stand out, I think. That's the one thing. The other thing is, particularly for those applying for the International Law and Foreign Affairs program, in your research proposal, because we do invite applications from you know, people with a non-legal background, I think that you need to actually demonstrate at least a kind of provisional or preliminary understanding of law, right? So your proposed research needs to be grounded in law. It can't be too generic. It can't be too sort of, you know, this is the world kind of thing. This is an issue I'm interested in. Absolutely do something you're interested in, but it needs to have sufficient legal grounding. We completely understand that you haven't, you know, studied law yet, but you need to have a strong background in some of the legal basics. That would be my advice. Thank you.
I think both of the comments of Professor Dimitropoulos and also Professor Adish touch on one thing, and that is the commitment of the individual to wanting to be part of a program and to undertake the rigor the program. And I had a conversation the other night at dinner with a prominent lawyer who was saying, why would a lawyer or why would a student not want to learn how a legal principle developed, and to be able to, with that understanding and have an ability to apply the principle to a new situation? Why would they not want to have that comprehensive knowledge so that then they can go and shape the law in the future? And I keep thinking about that, because that is what we as educators need to be doing, is to cause the students to be thinking of, where do I go to find this source? What should I be focused on? And reading a source and saying, I don't think that's right, or maybe this is right, but I disagree with it in this respect. That's the critical mind we hope to develop while you're here. And we want people who want to be part of that process, who appreciate there's no shortcuts. There are no shortcuts in practicing law. There's no shortcuts in legal research and writing. It is sort of a labor of love.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Fatma, Professor George, Dean Susan. I would now want you to have a look at a short video from the Student Affairs for you to be able to understand the kind of services they offer to support your academic journey at HBKU. Can we please play the video?
قسم المشاركة الطلابية في إدارة شؤون الطلاب هو أحد الأقسام الداعمة للطلاب في جامعة حمد بن خليفة، والذي يسهم بشكل كبير في دعم الطلاب وإشراكهم وإخراطهم في الأنشطة غير الأكاديمية. هناك أنشطة رياضية، هناك أنشطة ثقافية، هناك أنشطة تعليمية، جميعها تكون خارج المنهج التعليمي، ولكن كلها يصب في النهاية نتائجها تصب في النتيجة التعليمية لكل طالب.
كل سنة الفرق عندنا عددها يكثر. عندنا لحد الآن 6 فرق رياضية، فريق كرة قدم فئة بنين، فريق كرة سلة فئة بنين وبنات، فريق كرة طائرة بنين وبنات، وعندي فريق فئة شباب كريكت.
احنا طبعا نتواصل في إدارة شؤون الطلاب من خلال إدارة التواصل المجتمعي وشؤون الطلاب مع الجامعات الشريكة الموجودة في قطر فاونديشن من خلال ما يسمى بالكارير سيرفيسز اللي هو الخدمات المهنية. قمنا في السابق في موضوع اللي هو المعرض المهني الكارير فير. أيضا عملنا في السابق برنامج كان لقادة المجتمع، دعينا فيه معظم رؤساء الشركات وأيضا بعض الوزراء مثل التعرف على الجامعة وتعريفهم ببرامج الجامعة اللي تطرحها.
احنا في إدارة شؤون الطلاب نهتم خاصة في ناحية العلاقات المجتمعية، كتوقيع اتفاقيات، كزيارة الشركات الخاصة والغير خاصة للتعريف عن جامعة حمد بن خليفة، وتواصل إلى اتفاقيات من ناحية توفير فرص للطلاب أو للخريجين، أو أنك إلى شركات أو القطاع الخاص عندهم مثلا وجهات نظر كالتعاون، ممكن احنا نخدمها تحت إطار اتفاقية أو تحت إطار اللي هو تعاون مشترك ويانا.
Well, thank you very much. We've already had some very interesting questions, and a lot of those questions have already been addressed. However, I will still now open the floor to any additional questions that we have, and please use the chat box and get this opportunity to get your queries answered.
Can I just chime in on the question that Abdul asked that George answered? And we also have path for licensing outside of Qatar in the United States, as Professor Dimitropoulos indicated, but also we're having paths in Canada and Australia, and now one of our graduates is working on getting licensed in the United Kingdom too. So this is something we've been very focused on. And it was exciting to see our graduates, for example, go to the United States and after a one-year LLM sit the New York bar and pass, which is a major accomplishment, as I'm sure some of you may know, but there are other opportunities as well.
Yes, also, I would just like to, just sort of relating specifically to the UK, there is now a different way to get, licensed as a solicitor, which is one of the type of lawyers you can be in the UK, and that's the solicitor's qualifying exam. And I would just like to add that taking the JD at HBKU prepares you very well for sitting the solicitor's qualifying exam, which is known as the SQE, particularly because we have a very comparative component. So you'll know English law very well by the end of the JD. So I just wanted to kind of add that perspective.
I'm not sure whether students, prospective students, in fact, can actually speak, right? This is not the case. So, because I think some have tried, for the ones of you that have tried and have failed to use your mic, please, type your questions in the chat box.
Yeah, it's
I'm
only
not
in the
missing anything here,
chat
right?
box. Yeah, it's only in the
It's
chat
only
box. Yeah.
it's only the chat box, everybody. Okay. Any further questions? Might there be anything that we may have missed? Ali, it looks like you're trying to say something. Could you type it in? No. Okay.
Looks like
So we
we've exhausted
call
the
it a day.
questions. Yeah, but on behalf of the college, let me just thank everyone for participating, and thank you so much, Amna, as well as Professor Dimitropoulos and also Dr. Fatima, and thank you so much, Bilal. Thank you, Sandia Manis, who has been behind the scenes helping us. Salma, who was introduced in paper, who helps us with the admissions process for the LM and the SJD. Thank you so much. And also Dr. Kahindi, who actually is in class but has been able to participate a little bit. Ali, I see you do have a question. So please type that question out right now if you don't mind. It says you want to ask. So.
Okay, yes, الميكروفون متوقف, I can see, but you can't speak onto it. You can't speak. We've disabled that function. فلو سمحت علي, لو تقدر تكتب السؤال, ولو تقدر تكتبه بالإنجليزي. Okay, بس بالإنجليش. He was just explaining that he couldn't talk, and I just, yeah, okay.
There was a question here. Is there a limitation of the age for a student in the PhD program, Professor Dimitropoulos?
Absolutely none. I guess there's a minimum, which is 22 plus, having done, your masters. I guess we only have a minimum around 23, I guess, But when it comes to the upper age limit, anything goes. We would love to see, excellent topics and research proposals independent of age. In fact,
Dr. Kahindi joined us. Sorry.
Yes. In fact, we don't even have, I've never reviewed age, whenever I've received a file, I don't even know that we review age in any way whatsoever.
No, and if I can add, we have a really impressive age diversity, specifically in the SJD program. So it's actually one of the strengths, I would say, of the program. Ali, we're still waiting for your question. Ali,
well,
we
while we're waiting, we have Dr. Kahindi here. Yeah.
Sorry, there's just a question now. the
Yes.
IELTS. Is it, I can just.
Bilal should take the question about IELTS, right?
Yeah, sure. Sorry. So yeah, when you do apply, we do request the IELTS. If you don't have it, but you are planning to take it, we can give you some sort of extension as long as you show an intention to take it. You know, it could be like a booking confirmation or something like that, but it should be as soon as possible.
Okay, I'm going to answer Ali's question, which is in Arabic. I'll answer Ali in Arabic. So Ali, أهلا وسهلا بك. بس إحنا يعني برامجنا كلها باللغة الإنجليزية. فهذا معناه إن لو كان لغتك الإنجليزية متوسطة مش رح ينفع يعني إنه تجي لبرنامجنا. فمع الأسف يعني لو أنت مش قادر تكتب السؤال بالإنجليزي معناها رح يكون يعني صعب عليك إن تدرس معنا بالإنجليزي، وإحنا الآيلتس لازم يكون على الأقل 6.5. Okay. That was it. That's fine. Jinan, do you mean the LLM programs? The LLM programs, absolutely no scholarships. That's right. Yeah, so no scholarships, unfortunately. Thank you.
In fact, no scholarships, no tuition waivers, to clarify this as well, right? You know, no funding in any way whatsoever for the LLM programs. You know, you need to cover the program financially by yourself. But, you know, to be fair, you know, it's not extremely expensive, especially for what you're getting, right? You are getting, you know, world-class education at a rate that, you know, you wouldn't be able to find anywhere else. That's the truth of the matter.
Thank you, Jinan. Okay.
Great. Well, let me thank everyone again. I gave thanks a few minutes ago, and hello, Dr. Kahindi. I know that you were teaching too, but for the audience, it looks like everyone is saying that the session was beneficial, and obviously we sent you on the, like you saw on the screen, email addresses for our colleagues who handle any questions that you may have and the like, and you're welcome to reach out to any of us at any time. But thank you so much, everyone, for your help today. And Amna, do you want to give the official closing?
Well, yes, thank you again, Dean Susan, faculty and everyone. And also thank you to the audience for your interest and thoughtful engagement. We really look forward to helping you plan your next steps with us. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Amna. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Hamidi says something.
Have we closed it yet?
Because it seems like
one of the,
I think we're still on. Yeah.
Okay.
Hamidi has a question.
If you just give me 1 minute, because Ali can't, he couldn't hear us, so I just want to write the response in Arabic. I'm so sorry. Give me a minute.
I finished my master degree in Indonesia. I have experience. Of course, Hamidi, you're definitely eligible to apply, but you know, you're not explaining what the program you would wish to apply for. Leiba, yes, we have a number of scholarships, you know, available for the JD program. In fact, we have tuition waivers. Maybe the dean would like to take that question.
Yeah, we have thank you so much, Professor Dimitropoulos. We have a limited number of partial tuition waivers for the JD program. And those waivers are competitive, but we do have them, and over the years they've obviously been very helpful to students, but they are a limited number of partial tuition waivers.
Perfect.
I think that's it. We can
That's
end the
it.
session.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, we have one more.
is it possible to reach the recording of the session? I don't know the answer to that.
Yes, they will be having it on the YouTube, and so
Oh,
yeah, it's going to be available.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.
thank you. Bye bye.
Thank
Appreciate
you all.
it.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.